and welcome to the latest episode of the Online Warriors podcast. And actually, happy Groundhog Day. Isn't this coming out on Groundhog Day? Did I just have that realization like live?
Do you think
I just realized
Punxsutawney Phil is going to see his shadow?
No. Absolutely. I mean, we're going to have more winter.
It's a scam.
It's just so much more winter.
Groundhog Day is a scam. Can we look, we're coming in hot this week. Like, I don't even care. We're 30 seconds in.
Groundhog
I'm
Day
Lady 6
is a scam.
Yeah. I'm not even going to introduce us.
What is it scamming? Is it trying to get you to buy more groundhogs?
It's not real, man. I don't know what that's a really good question. I don't know what it's like scamming us into, but it's not real. It's made up. The groundhog, there's always 6 more weeks of winter. Like, can we check the stats on this? Has there ever not been 6 more weeks of winter? Is this like some weird children's game that I'm still falling for?
You're absolutely incorrect. It's fluctuated both ways. You just got hurt by a groundhog at some point, so you're salty.
Wait, so what is it? If he sees his shadow, that means that there's 6 more weeks?
Yes.
Correct, because he goes back. Well, he sees his shadow. See, it's weird, but that's weird right there. Because if he sees his shadow, guess what that means? The sun's
spring
out.
Is coming, yeah.
Right, but I think what happens is he sees his shadow and he gets scared. And he goes back in. Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia. All right. Statistics. Punxsutawney Phil. Okay, he's the one. Like there's a bunch of groundhogs, obviously, but he's like the main groundhog.
There
in
has to be
Pennsylvania.
multiple Punxsutawney
It's
Phils,
Philip
though.
the Fourth.
Like there's no way it's the same groundhog for all this time.
He has predicted, and yeah, there is no way because he's predicted 103 forecasts for winter and 17 for an early spring.
Yeah, he's in the pockets of big winter. Confirmed.
Like, he's in the pocket. He has to be. I don't understand who's benefiting from this. Maybe like the Farmer's Almanac people. I have no idea.
I'm telling you.
Why would it be?
Why?
The
People hear winter storm. They make a run.
Like the
no. I'm sorry. That's
bread and milk company.
The bread and milk companies, dairy farmers,
big bread and milk.
I mean, at this point, I'm willing to take that as truth because I just like. And by the way, this happens every year. I'm sure if we rolled the tape back to our last Groundhog Day episode, I'm sure I complain in exactly the same way. Like, this is probably, people are hearing this and going, yeah, we know you hate Groundhog Day. Like, I don't hate Groundhog Day, but I just like,
I don't know. It might be,
understand.
he might say, hear me out. He might, now that everyone's like working from home and that's like a thing, he might say, you know what, spring's coming, but I'm still going to chill in the den because I got my laptop set up.
Okay, no, actually though, hear me out. I feel like he never, even if he wants to not see his shadow, he doesn't have a chance because now we have all of the media people flashing their little cameras at him.
Big media.
Flashbulbing.
Yeah, like that poor guy, he doesn't stand a chance. He's being held up like baby Simba at Pride Rock.
And I can read through this on my own time. But like, it's one of those situations where you're like, how did we get here? Like, at one point where people like, hey, let's watch this groundhog come out of a hole.
Hear me out. It makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. And draw conclusions from it. Like, I just don't even what? It's
like
crazy.
You know winter's coming. Hear me out. You know winter's coming because the birds start flying south. Observing nature to get a feel for the climate is actually something we've been doing for a long time.
I'm just picturing some poor schmuck like 100 years ago going into a poor groundhog's hole and just
shaking it.
And just like grabbing him by the feet and dragging him out and holding him up to the sun. Let me see your shadow.
I don't
know why I'm dying over here.
I think it was 2 drunk people like just sitting in lawn chairs and a groundhog happened to come out and scurry back into his hole and one of them turned to the other and said, you know what that means, right?
Let's add that.
They were actually blasted. And one of them said, "Oh, that means there's 6 more weeks of winter." And the other person just believed him, and that's how it started. Like I don't. If you want, like the point you made,
Techtic, I agree with you 100%.
It's a great point.
It's always someone's grandfather along the way says something ridiculous just to like shut their kid up, so to speak, and then it gets passed down from generation to generation.
It's an old wives' tale that has gotten completely out of control. Like I think we have to accept that because. What you said about the birds makes sense. You know, when the birds leave, that means it's going to get cold, or at least like the weather's going to be bad in some way. Well, guess what? You can take that and revert it. When the birds come back, spring is coming. Where does a groundhog come into the equation at all? Like, I don't even like groundhogs probably do fine.
They're easier to
come
catch
out
than birds.
Yeah, they're not as fast. I don't know. We're not going to talk about this the whole time. Happy Groundhog Day, I guess. Like that I think that's where we are. Online Warriors podcast policy on Groundhog Day is we don't get it, we don't support it, but you're free to celebrate however you see fit. Watch the groundhog if you want. I mean, I'm sure I'll hear what happens. So the joke's on me. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, we're recording this on Monday, so right now we're waiting with bated breath to see what Punxsutawney Phil does. We have a lot to talk about today. We have some bad news for you about Wordle. That's me objecting my opinion into the headline, but I'm going to go ahead and do that because I think it's objectively true. We'll get to that in a second. We have to talk about Halo, the TV show, because we got a trailer for that is not just basically a picture of Master Chief. So there's a lot of things to be discussed there. And then we're going to stick to Halo Land, kind of, and talk about Bungie. Because if you didn't hear the big news about Bungie, well, you're going to. Let's dive in, though, with what's, I already have my, ranting energy up from Groundhog Day. So
let me just squirm in The Rock real quick. Another piece of news.
Right, go ahead.
Is that The Rock announced he's going to be in a video game, and we don't even really need to talk about it ad nauseum. I'm just going to say it right now, just so it's recorded and it's locked in. Gears of War, that's the game. Don't even counterpoint me. Y'all know I'm right.
Is it okay? Can I ask 2 follow-up questions? I know we're pressed for time because I just wasted 6 minutes on the Groundhog. Okay.
Half.
Will it be rated R?
No, PG-13.
PG-13. Okay.
I feel like it'll be like Jumanji.
Because I mean, the games were rated R big time. They were chainsawing people. I never played the Gears of War games. I think I played through one of them all the way. I think I might have finished one of them, and I was like, that was pretty good. And then I just stopped. Question 2: Do you think it's Gears of War just because The Rock is bald?
I think it's Gears of War because everyone saw it coming a mile away, and not because The Rock is bald, but because The Rock is big.
Yeah, he's big dude. And did you see, by the way, the video of his head steaming? Did you guys see this? He posted a video.
No.
Is that a sex
He must have been no, this is not facetious at all. This is a thing that actually happened. If you go on his Twitter, it's probably still there and very recent. This was yesterday or the day before. He posted a video and I didn't have the sound on, so I don't know what he was saying. It was just him talking. I don't know if it was intentional, but his head, the top of his head, was literally, there was steam coming off of it. So if that's what you're into, go check that video out, I guess. But yeah, it's probably because he's big and all the guys in Gears of War are big. Either way, we saw this headline. Techtic, just absolutely sniped it. I saw the headline and was and Techtic was it's Gears of War. And I was like, it's Gears of War. It's one of those things it's a point you can't argue. It's like the sky is blue.
It's an Aristocats Jamie Foxx point.
It's an Aristocats Jamie Foxx point. Thank you so much for saying that. Let's talk about Wordle, because look, I'm going to, this is another behind the scenes moment of Online Warriors. We have a Discord where we talk regularly. We don't just meet up once a week and, we catch each other up on our weeks, but we have a sense of what each other is doing because we have Discord and we talk on Discord. And on the Discord, we have a number of channels, and we reached a point due to all the score sharing where a distinct channel was made for Wordle, and the channel name is Wordle, because the only thing that goes in there are Wordle results. We are the 3 of us are daily players. I'm currently on a hot streak, by the way.
You are on a hot streak.
I think I have 3 or 4 threes in a row. For me, that's an accomplishment of Titanic proportions. But needless to say, we're all very into it. I don't know. Did you guys watch Lingo on GSN back in the day? Because that's what this is, by the way.
Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about that. Way to unlock a memory that I forgot I had.
No one remembers it because everyone's like, wow, this is a new and original thing.
I don't even know what it is.
It's Wordle. It's just they made it. It's a game show. And instead of doing it by yourself, you're with 2 people. And Chuck Woolery is the host. And it was on GSN for honestly, a number of years. It was not altogether unpopular. It was people watched it.
Honestly, and this is a shout out to GSN. If you don't have Game Show Network in your life or never did, I'm so sorry. They're game shows that you would never hear of otherwise. They're so random, but they're so fun.
We used to watch, there was this one called Chain Reaction, I believe.
Oh, I do.
That was an amazing game show. Ball Breakers, I believe, is actually what it was called. It was either Ball Breakers or Ball Busters. And it was just 9-ball pool. That's all it was. That's what the game show was, but it was a great show. Shout out to GSN. Guys, all good things must come to an end. Not that GSN is over, but you know how Wordle is a phenomenon right now, and it's viral, and it's, most importantly, free? Well, the gray lady came in and said no to that. She said nay, and the New York Times has purchased Wordle from the original designer, and I'm gonna name check him here because he deserves it.
Wordle
and
is
also,
his name.
yeah, his last name is Wordle. I'm trying to track down. It's Josh Wordle. He used to work for Reddit, Brooklyn-based software engineer. He has sold Wordle to New York Times for what is reportedly a low seven figures. And I want to read this statement from the New York Times because to me it is objectively hilarious. Actually, this is per the article from CNN, I should say. Wordle, purchased for a price the Times described as being in the low seven figures, will initially remain free to new and existing players. Initially, which means not for long. Like
That's so sad.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Oh, what if this was paywalled? Cool. It's the kind of thing where not only am I, like, as a player, I'm mad about this, right? Because it means I'm not going to get to play it for much longer, and I enjoy playing it. I play it every day when I brush my teeth. That's when I do it. It can become part of a routine. You can switch to Loodle.
See, that's too hard because you only...
We're not... Yeah, you're only good at it if you're perverted.
No, but you can only... Like, you can't guess regular words. You can only guess lewd words, and my vocabulary is just apparently not good enough. I thought I was immature enough to be good at it, but I'm just not.
Yeah, I guess penis like 6 times, and then I lose.
Someone tweeted, I think it was last week, there was a stretch of words that Wordle was doing that someone was like, the person who's making the Wordles is really horny this week. Like, there was perky and there was mount, and there was a lot of, like, if you wanted to, like, make those words, like, you know, little randy, it would be pretty easy to do. This is the worst. This is the absolute worst. I hate it. And it makes, like I said, it makes me mad as a player, but it also makes me mad as, like a thinking person, because I don't know what the New York Times is. This is going to die. It's going to kill this.
Oh, absolutely.
That's my opinion. Like this will, as soon as this gets paywalled, it's going to be dead in the water, and no one's going to do it. Like,
well, like the thing that was cool about Wordle, and maybe you guys found it different, but like for me, I really liked how simple it was. There were no ads. There was nothing flashy. It was just, you know,
it's
you
minimalist.
you went to this website. It took maybe, depending on how long it took you to guess the word, 5 minutes to an hour of your day. You know, play a game, get your brain moving a little bit, broaden your horizons and your vocabulary, and then you moved on till the next day. And it all had us hooked. I mean, it was so simple. It advertised itself by sharing your results. It wasn't, I mean, I'm sure for the guy who ran it, like the server costs must have been astronomical once it blew up.
Well,
but
yeah, right. And like, admittedly, how, like, the question of how do you monetize this is a difficult one, because it should be monetized.
They're never going to make you pay directly for Wordle. Wordle itself will not be what you're paying for. What they're gonna do is they're gonna say, hey, this app, so to speak, is now on our website, and when you subscribe to All Access to the New York Times, it's included.
Right.
Because don't they do that with the crossword?
They do, yeah. And a couple other word games.
I thought you could only get like one crossword a week and the rest are all under paywall. I could be wrong.
It's something like that. But my point is, like,
imagine only having like one Wordle a week. Imagine that world.
Oh, it's an absolute dystopian nightmare. But just like put a little, like, I know you're right, Nerdbomber, about like the minimalist like appeal of it, and like it's just the boxes, that's it, and everything, and it advertises itself. But like, they want to make money somehow. I understand that. I totally get that. That's the world we're living in. Put a banner ad there and let us keep doing it. You'll make your money. You'll make a lot of money, probably. Even just with one banner ad, you probably would. And let us keep doing it. Like that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with you walking it behind a paywall. Like, I don't know. It's hard to even, I'm just angry.
You know, websites like Wordle, they generate this community of people that everyone has access to, and we're going to lose that. And it makes me sad because, one, people aren't going to come. It's going to become exclusive. And two, I just thought of a new community, and like, I'm afraid to do it because it'll get ruined by the world.
But like, the other question I have, which
it's not
can
to make us money, it's
answered.
to build a community. And that's my point, is all good things should be about community, and that's it. Get your grubby fingers off it.
Can Wordle be copyrighted? Like, it's so simple an idea. Can't someone else just go and make like Wordy and it's the same thing?
Well,
like,
there is.
I'm sure they can't.
So there's actually already like Wordle lookalikes that have popped up. I actually sent one to you guys a while back because Wordle,
it's the one you can replay. Yeah.
Right. Wordle has one puzzle a day, whereas I'd have to look, and I'll share it in the notes or something. But this other website, you can have like multiple, and instead of playing to get the single word of the day, it's all randomized, and then you're playing to get a streak. But something about that, like the community of us all going after the same word, was magical.
There's a togetherness, but there's also like let's be absolutely clear here. Whenever I'm playing Wordle, my number one goal is to look smart to my friends. That's the number one goal. The number one goal is be good at this and be better at this than the people that I know. That is what gives it its power. I totally agree. Also, a note on that, the one you just talked about, the link you're going to share, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work anymore. Because they probably like blasted it for copyright or something. Because when I went back, I think I either tried to pin that link, or I just kept going back and finding it, because I would play one Wordle and I'd be like, I want to play more Wordles, and I would go back and find it. So thank you first of all for sending that in our Discord. But I'm pretty sure it's no more. Like I think the last time I tried to open it, it was just. Yeah.
Now that the New York Times has
the legal team's cracking down,
the legal team is just like, nope.
Yeah, which again, it's just it brings a tear to my eye, and not like a happy tear, a sad tear. Like pour one out for Wordle. I do think this is it. I give it a month, maybe 6 weeks, and it'll be like it never happened, which is a bummer. It's a huge bummer. Is there more to be said about this, or should we just move on? I think we should just probably move on, because I don't even think that's an opinion. I think that's just straight up what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's all I got. Makes me sad.
But you should be encouraged to make a website of your own that you find passionate for, and have it fade into obscurity for many years, and then all of a sudden, who knows what will happen. So be creative, folks.
Right. You might make seven figures.
Oh no, Wordmaster.
7 figures.
It still works. I'm on Wordmaster right now. For everyone interested, Google Wordmaster.
Maybe they took it down to like soup it up because so many people were using it or something. Because I was like 2 days ago, I went to do it and it was down, and I was really bummed out about it. So I'm glad it's still up. Put it in the show notes, I guess, like you said you were going to do. Spread the good word. Fight the good fight against the New York Times. I don't have a problem with the New York Times, but I have a problem with what in this instance with what they're doing. The Halo trailer. We all watched this. There's a lot to digest here, so why don't we give it a shot? I'm gonna come in guns blazing, as I often do, with a take that may be incorrect based on development timelines, but I do not care. Someone at Paramount Plus saw The Mandalorian and was like, hey, we need something like The Mandalorian. We need a guy in a helmet who you don't see, who talks in a certain way, and who is very badass. And someone was like, I know just CIP for that.
This is a lukewarm take. This is weakly founded, in my opinion.
I mean, just call it cold if you want.
I thought this was actually, I believe, linked to Showtime a long time ago. It was either Showtime or Stars, and then that never got off the ground, and then it pivoted to Paramount Plus. So I think this has been in the works for a while, but it never happened.
There was a Peter Jackson movie in development like way back when. I mean, Halo's been kicking around basically since the game came out as a movie or a show or as some kind of property. I'm just saying that depending on the production timeline, not necessarily the development timeline, in production, I have to believe they were like, just make it like The Mandalorian.
See,
like, I don't know. That's the vibe I got immediately.
Here's my take. We're coming off the heels of the age of comics, right? People are starting to get winded of it, and we're putting on a new set of heels, or I guess our stilettos of sorts.
Blue suede shoes.
For the age of video games, right? We're seeing the Uncharted movies. We're seeing The Last of Us. And they're all these large franchise games. So
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Mass Effects. Halo, it was inevitable, right? It had nothing to do with The Mandalorian. It was just, its time has come, and here we are.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised it didn't happen sooner. Do you guys remember back when the Xbox One came out, they were like, Microsoft was super heavy into TV to the point where Quantum Break, like it had the TV show embedded in it, and you couldn't play the game without watching those episodes in between missions.
Yeah.
Like, I'm honestly surprised. Like, I thought for sure that was Microsoft's gateway into making a Halo TV show.
I'm very bothered by the voice, because it's not like that's the problem with these sorts of things. It's not right. Like don't get me wrong. They clearly tried and they got close, But honestly, the fact that they got close and didn't hit it almost makes it worse.
I couldn't
Like,
agree with you more. Not so much with the voice, but that the fact that everything seems so close yet kind of off. Like, my biggest thing that I hated, especially in this trailer, was Cortana.
I mean, they actually did get the real voice actor for this, though.
Right.
I was going to
Cortana.
say, she sounded right.
She sounded right, but she looked off. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Everything was very
I can
close,
feel you on that.
but slightly off.
Well, because she looked human, and like in the games, and this is going to sound super dumb, but like when you're playing the game, Master Chief is in armor, so like you can suspend your disbelief that he's a human. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy. Like
Right.
they could slap any old human in there. But Cortana is an AI, and so like you expect her to look less like a human and more like AI. And in this trailer, she just looked a little too human-esque. Maybe that's just
she's a blue chick.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
needed to be more
Pretty
blue.
much, yeah.
Make her more blue.
Yeah, like
Like
a
I
neon
said, everything
blue.
was
This
so close, but just weird. And like
now
that part of it I did not get excited for. Now, however, there was one thing that really, really piqued my interest, and that was tentacles. Guys.
Yeah, I think the aliens at large, the Covenant,
Right, but the
what
Covenant
little we
aside,
saw was
the
impressive.
flood are going to be in this
The Flood.
too. I did not
Yeah.
think that they would, at least in this window that we were going to be getting first, I did not think they were going to touch the flood for a while. But no, it looks like not only are they going to be included, but we're going to see parasitic control of humans interacting, and that makes for excellent storytelling. So that I am excited for.
Well, so okay, speaking of the control thing, at one point, I don't remember exactly what she said, but the lady in the white, who maybe I'm supposed to know who that is, but I didn't, said that Master Chief was like programmable, basically. Is that like true? Is that like in the games? Is that a thing? Because I did not think it was.
They're,
at one point,
they're standard brainwashed soldiers, right? They're tools.
Right, but I'm 99% sure in the trailer at some point she was like, we could give him new skills, basically. Like almost like a Matrix situation where they just like upload a chip into his brain or something. That's the vibe that I got.
I mean,
Maybe I
if you
read it
look
wrong.
at how
I'll
the
have to rewatch.
games, as the games evolved, I mean, you definitely did get new skills, though. Especially, I think one of the biggest jumps was from the first Halo, I think, to like 3 or maybe 4. And didn't they add like jetpacks and shenaniganery
That
weren't
was
the
Halo
original
Reach.
games? Was
Yeah,
it?
so Halo Reach, they added jetpacks and like they added a bunch of other stuff. The jetpack was like the flashiest one. I get it, but like to add something that large thematically would be big. I mean, make no mistake, you're getting a lot. If you're a Halo fan, you're getting a lot here. Just in this trailer, I mean, you see a warthog, you see a beam sword, you see like all these things. You're like, oh yes. Like I'm sure diehard fans of the series probably watched this and thought, okay, like I'm at least interested in watching it. Like maybe not excited, but definitely gonna check it out. I'll probably watch it. Like I it could be interesting just to see what they wind up doing with it. But there's a lot, like even the brief scene they showed of him fighting the Covenant, I was like, I don't know about that. Him
Why
walking
did it look
around,
like the little short kid trying to like get
A little-
like
a
cookies
little
from
bit.
his dad? Like
it's just
too short. Oh.
it just like there was a lot of, would the Master Chief really be that close to the Covenant? Like he's like dancing with him. I don't know. Maybe like, and maybe this
Sure,
is me
no.
just showing off my
The
inexperience.
closeness I'm fine with, but I don't remember playing through the games the height difference being that drastic.
It is
like-
pretty drastic. Yeah.
Because
like Master
looked like
Chief,
a
by the
little
way,
kid with a bunch of adults.
isn't Master Chief like a really big dude in the games? Like
Yeah, he's
purposely,
huge.
he's like
Standing next to the
6'7" or
other
something?
soldiers,
Yeah,
he towers over them.
I don't know. There's some question marks here for me. Like if it was just him walking around shooting stuff and saying badass stuff in the correct voice all the time, yeah, where do I sign? Like that sounds great to me. But
But how
if you
entertaining would that be? Because you need a story. And I mean, I guess you could just do the base level aliens story, but I think they're definitely angling for he's going to become cognizant of the fact that he's under control one way or
Yes.
another, whether it's actual control
sure.
or just he was brainwashed. And I think a lot of it seems like they're setting this up to deal with a lot of that, where he's grappling with, being on his own. And I'm trying to remember,
I like that.
I don't remember
I think that's
the
good.
first few Halo games. I feel like up until Halo 2 had a little bit more of a story, but the first Halo I feel like was very bare bones. It was just you're on this space ring with aliens. Have fun. Good luck.
Yeah,
it
not
didn't have a
once-
ton of story, but
not once were they like, who am I? Like, there's none of that was happening, I think, in Halo 1. I don't know about past that, because Halo 1 is the only one I played all the way through. But I like that aspect of it. It would be cool for them to get into that. The combat, it scares me a little bit. Again, based on what we saw. It's just, I think Techtic, what you said, it's a little off. The guns look great.
Great. Like when he was, what is the
battle rifle? When he picked up the battle rifle at the end, I was like, "That's a battle rifle." Like, good job. Yeah, obviously, that's an easy one. Like, needlers are going to be interesting, right?
I want to call it the mulcher, but it's not the mulcher. The mulcher is from Gears, but the turrety thing, the sub minigun.
Oh,
what the hell is that?
Well,
called?
yeah, I don't know what. I know what you're talking about. I was going to say, I don't know if there's a name for it. You know, the big Gatling gun thing that he's carrying around at the beginning.
Yeah.
That looked right too. They're going
that looked really
for accuracy. Right. Yeah. I think visually the accuracy is there for the most part. It's just like there's just little details that they really have to be focused on. And like that's their main job. I'm sure they're thinking about it. But I don't know. I don't want to come off as so lukewarm on this. I'm going to watch it, I think.
Well, I feel like this could be really good or really bad.
You could just say cold, by the way.
I'm not cold. I think I'm legitimately lukewarm. What was funny, Nerdbomber? What would be
I think
funny?
it would have been funny if they pulled like a red versus blue and like they built this up to be this super serious show, but then it's just like them dicking around.
Yes. I will pay gobs of money for that. Just gobs.
Now, I have a confession to make.
Oh, you never watched it?
Never.
We don't actually have gobs of money. Oh,
I understand the premise. Right? It's just guys in Halo goofing around, right? That's it.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. But it's definitely like if you can turn your brain off for like a 15, 20 minutes, it's worth a watch. It feels very outdated now because obviously it was like original Halo graphics, but at the time it was super funny.
It's basically the video game version of a puppet show. Like, is that a fair assessment of what it is? Yeah. I don't want to diminish what it is because it was a huge deal when it was out. But like when I think about it now, that's what it was. It was a video game puppet show. This will have higher production value than that, I think. But we'll see. This comes out March 24th. This is coming down the pipe real soon. That was one of the more surprising things about the trailer. I was like, oh, this is raring to go here. So we'll get back to you. I will, like, I'm pretty sure I still have Paramount Plus. I'll give this a shot. I'll give it the old college try, if only for one episode, just so I can say that I did, basically. And I'll check back in with y'all. Are you guys Paramount Plusers? Do you have access to this?
We are not. We subbed for like a week because we wanted to watch A Quiet Place 2, and there was some other movie. But I'm sure there's that stupid rom-com with J-Lo coming out and Owen Wilson.
Hey.
Okay, maybe not.
Keep your mouth shut about my boy Owen Wilson. Are you kidding me? That trailer looks amazing. I know. Yeah, this is an amazing movie. Okay. What's it called? Marry Me or something?
Yeah, Marry Me.
It's so dumb. It's really stupid.
Yeah, but like it's Valentine's Day. There's nothing better than a really campy rom-com, and J-Lo and Owen Wilson are top tier. So we'll probably stop again for like a month, and maybe we'll still have it in time for Halo.
Can you imagine a better cast than Owen Wilson for that? They're like, we need to get a guy who
looks like a teacher.
He looks like a teacher, and he's like not really famous, but famous enough. Like he was super famous. He's not now. Like, is that fair to say about Owen Wilson? I feel like it is.
Wasn't he just in Loki?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you need to shut your mouth. He's still doing great things.
I clearly love Owen Wilson, and that's why I attacked you just now. But I was also just trying to put him down.
We're about to go full circle to Nerdbomber telling me to shut my mouth.
Could you, Nerdbomber? Tell him something. Tell him to shut his mouth.
Or Owen Wilson stinks. Now you do it.
Shut your mouth. I will say, he made a movie that made me cry, so good for him.
That's a great movie. I don't even need to ask. Yeah, I don't even need to ask. This movie, this Marry Me movie, who came up with that? Like, I think the reason I feel so strongly about it too is romantic comedies are like my thing, but this might be a bridge too far. Like, it's my goodness. He is in the audience and a pop star proposes. She sees him holding up a sign that says Marry Me, and she's just like, yeah, let's do it. I can't even, we're sidetracking now, but you should go watch the trailer for that because that's equally as enthralling as the Halo trailer. is that I think maybe even more. I'll say it. We're a video game entertainment podcast, but that's just who I am as a person. I watched that trailer and
we're in the dark ages of rom-coms. I will say that there aren't many of them, and some of them that do come out are like way out there. Or they're not even comms, they're just rom-droms who masquerade as comms.
I feel like every time we try a rom-com, I always leave like, oh, now I'm kind of depressed. Cool.
There's like an existential crisis at the crux of it because it's like this indie movie that is only on Hulu. Yeah.
Well, and then but it's easy. Then you just watch Hitch as a palate cleanser, and you feel better.
No,
yeah, is the golden age of rom-coms behind us?
Yeah, it definitely is. But my palate cleanser is No Strings Attached, which I will be watching in about 2 weeks. So buckle up, Buttercup.
Is that the
Ashton Kutcher,
Mila Kunis? No, Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman. Well, they came out at the same time. Give me a break.
Yeah.
The same exact movie came out at the same time, like a copy of the movie. I can't remember the other one's called Friends with Benefits, I believe.
Mm-hmm. No Strings Attached was superior.
Like
if you don't think No Strings Attached was superior, you can fight me.
I really wish only one of them came out and the other one was a Mandela effect. I really do.
I think Just Friends was better. Okay, now do it.
Okay, we're going to fight.
Just Friends never existed. That's another dimension. You're wrong.
I was trying to get you to say shut your mouth, but...
Actually, Just Friends is a different movie altogether. Friends with Benefits was the title, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, you're right.
Just Friends was a movie, though. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just... I think we should go to break. We're off the rails at this point. But before we go to break, though, Techtic has an amazing ad read to hit us up with. But before we do, Mr. Stephen Keller. It's that time again where we congratulate us. We congratulate you on the show. We don't congratulate ourselves. That would suck. We congratulate you for being as awesome as you are. Stephen is a Patreon producer. On the show, he supports us at the night level. He sits at our rectangular table, square table. We haven't decided. And as a result, he gets this producer shout out. He gets input into the weekly game segment, which I believe Nerdbomber is hosting this week. And he also gets, of course, access to the monthly secret segment and vlog. The January monthly secret segment was a Spider-Man spoiler cast. So you're missing out on some primo content there. Nerdbomber also laid down the vlog this month. And you're missing out if you're not a knight. You can also hit up that content as a squire, get access to the monthly secret segment and vlog, and the page gets access to the monthly secret segment. So for details on any of those levels of support, you can head to patreon.com/onlinewarriorspodcast. Check us out there. Say hi to Steven. He's over there. Yeah, thanks to Steven, and thanks to all of our supporters. And we'll take a short break now to shout out a sponsor.
Well, this is the ad break. And we're back.
All right, Techtic, thank you for that. We are going to move right along. Stay in Halo world, kind of. But like this is... See, it's weird because Bungie... When I hear Bungie, I think Halo, right? I guess... Is that me showing my age? I was born in the 90s. Okay, that's just how it is.
I mean, Bungie was Halo. They created Halo.
Right, but to me, that's still... I don't want to say all that they are, but like that's the big thing that they are. That's what I know them for. I think a lot of people now would say, no, they're the Destiny people. And honestly, ironically, I played a bunch of Destiny. I played Destiny 2. Like I was really into Destiny, into that ecosystem at one point. Sony has struck back here. We've been talking, I think we talked last week about Microsoft's buying Activision, and Microsoft has already bought Bethesda, and they're buying up everybody. And Sony said, hey, me too, man. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy Bungie.
This is a chess move. This is a solid chess move.
It's a solid chess move, and it's also like, I kind of like have always had this opinion, again, probably because of Halo, that like Bungie, I don't want to say is in Microsoft's pocket, because that's over dramatizing it, but like, I thought Bungie was full Microsoft boys. You know what I mean? Like this to me, this kind of comes out of nowhere. I guess, reading through the article from IGN, I guess Bungie and Sony have been working closely recently, particularly, surrounding things like Destiny, but they also have another IP that they're working on that no one knows anything about. So that's probably why Sony bought them for the, to the tune of $3.6 billion. There's got to be something
I know what it is.
Big behind the curtain.
And I just want to lock it in. No. It's The Rock, the game.
Oh my gosh.
His head is just steaming.
It's just The Rock's entire filmography as a game. Boy, that would be something else. Yeah, no, I mean, this is, I think you're right. This is a chess move. This is Sony saying, oh, you think that was big news? Well, here's some big news. Like, and granted, if I'm comparing the Activision sale to the Bungie sale, I mean, Activision is a bigger sale, objectively. but this is
right. But as you said,
still a big
Bungie
deal.
being synonymous to Microsoft, this is a hit to their classic IP. And that's what makes this the pretty solid chess move. This isn't just a pawn moves one forward. No. This is your rook is down looking at the king saying, hey, I see you. I know you castled, but I see you.
My initial reaction is that it's kind of like a mind game thing because, the breakup between Bungie and Microsoft, like, I know it was kind of okay, but also...
like Fallout? Okay, I don't know anything about that.
I don't really remember. I just remember, like, Bungie wanted to go off and basically make Destiny, and Microsoft was kind of still... From what I remember, I could be wrong. Someone fact check me. But from what I remember, Microsoft wanted more Halo, and they were like, we want to expand our wings. So from what I remember, they like bought themselves out or something like that. I don't know that much about the breakup, but then they like paired with Activision, which is funny because now Activision is with Microsoft. And I know for the last little bit, like you said before, they've been, for a lot of the Destiny 2 stuff, they were heavily involved with PlayStation in terms of like marketing and all that kind of stuff and like exclusivity deals. But it feels right from the fact that they were obviously working closely with PlayStation, but it seems so interwoven because they had the Microsoft ties, they had the Activision ties. And I think the thing that is more scary to me is that one of the Sony guys released a statement saying like, this is just the beginning. There's more acquisitions coming down the pipeline. And I'm just like, who is left? I know there's like the Japanese companies left, but like who is left at this point?
I mean, they still got their knight.
Okay.
They still got their bishop. They still got a couple pieces.
Let me hit you with a scenario that's never going to happen, but I think it's an interesting conversational piece. Also, I quickly Googled Bungie and I haven't found out exactly how amicable the split was between them and Microsoft, but let me change the subject. You're saying that they wept for there were no more worlds to conquer. Let's say there were two companies left. One was Sony and one was Microsoft. If you had to make a bet right now, I'll make a 50-cent bet with you. Who acquires who?
I think Microsoft, just because Microsoft has more money at their disposal. Because Microsoft isn't just in gaming and devices. Microsoft is ubiquitous with like Office software and IT.
Well, I mean, Sony made the Spider-Man movies, but so I think you're right. To be clear, but I think the companies are equally big. But right now, I actually think that Microsoft has the superior position. They got to Game Pass first. I do think that, like, I say this as a PlayStation 5 owner. Microsoft got to Game Pass first, and I think that's important. Not just the Game Pass itself, but the fact that they were looking for something like Game Pass and looking to revolutionize in that way before PlayStation got to it. So, if I were a betting man, I would say Microsoft. Techtic, do you want to take the underdog, or are you going to say Microsoft as well?
We all know the chip manufacturers are the real winners in this party. I'm just kidding.
I don't even know who. I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, hopefully we don't find out. Hopefully we don't find out if we're right. It's never going to happen.
I could never see them becoming one big thing. I mean, there's so many like antitrust laws.
Yeah,
like right now, they're big companies buying up other companies, but there's still enough like independent publishers and whatnot out there. If you combined Sony and Microsoft, like that just screams monopoly. Because who are the other big players?
Disney.
I mean, even if you, from the cost benefit analysis of buying them, you get more bang from competition. You do. Ultimately, both the consumers and the suppliers benefit. So it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it's never going to happen. It was just something interesting, I guess. Yeah, what I want to know what this new IP is. We have no idea, but I do believe that's why Sony made this Bungie purchase. And if anyone knows whether the Bungie Microsoft split was amicable or not, at Online Warriors 1, at OW Illeagle 86, at OW Techtic, at OW Nerdbomber, I've reached the limits of my on-air research. So let us know. Any gaming historians out there, and in particular game publisher historians out there, might be able to fill us in on that. I think we're heading right into What Are You Up To Wednesday, Groundhog Day edition. And I started last week. I tried to steal the show with my car accident story, so I'm gonna cede the floor to Nerdbomber this week to start and get us going.
So I actually started a new game. I started playing Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is an indie game by Ember Labs, and before they got into video games, they were more known for like animation side of things and like character animations. They have a very like Pixar-ish style of animation. This is their first foray into gaming, and I would say it feels a lot like Breath of the Wild-ish. The worlds are very like calm, magical, mystical. There's a lot of exploring. There's a lot of puzzles. There are enemies to beat. There's like melee-ish type combat, and like they do introduce later on like bombs and arrows and that kind of thing for ranged combat. But it's very like based in nature. There's evil kind of spirit anger that you have to dispel to bring peace and calm to the earth. And essentially your role as Kena is, you're a spirit guide. So you're guiding, troubled spirits on into the next world. And you do that by, using your magical powers and these little cute little adorable dudes called Rot, who I freaking love. They're so cute. You give them little hats. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Can I just tell you, anytime I'm in the same room as her playing, she stops me and goes, hey, look at my Rot. Look at my Rots. Look at them. Just look at them. Look how cute they are. And like she zooms into basically the eyeball of one, and it's just like, look how cute. Do you see how cute?
They're
called Rots?
Yeah.
That name confuses me. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, because they're basically supposed to be, little balls who eat bad negative energy and things. So they I don't know. I don't really understand the name of it either, but they're super hella
There's no
cute.
need to read into it, I guess.
Yeah.
Pick a gross sounding name for a cute thing. How's Rot? Perfect.
But there
you go.
The graphics are super gorgeous. The puzzles are not super difficult, but just kind of fun because it encourages a lot of exploration. It's a very cutesy game. I will say that the story, obviously we're talking about guiding spirits and, calming their anger and whatever issues they have so that they can pass on. That is surprisingly very heavy. I don't know why. I guess I didn't really think anything of it. Kena Bridge of Spirits. I should have maybe read a little bit more into it, but I just thought it would be a silly kind of fun game, and it gets heavy, I will say. But it's still overall, especially for a first time game dev studio, super fun game. Really enjoying it so far. It's not a super long game either. It's I think 10 hours to complete. I'm maybe halfway through. But, it utilizes, I'm playing on the PS5, so it's utilizing all the dual sense fun stuff. You draw your arrow and you've got the trigger resistance and all that kind of stuff. And graphically, just super gorgeous. So if that sounds up your alley, definitely check it out. It's not super expensive. I think if you don't get the physical edition, I think it's only $39. If you do get the physical edition, it's $50. So it's not your full cost game either. And I'm sure it'll go on sale.
Right on.
Okay, I'm swinging on in. Okay, I was busy this past week. This is 2 for 2. I am just tons of stuff to do around these parts. So the first thing I want to talk about is we watched Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And I have to say the first one was better, but this is really starting to build into the world that Sony is anticipating. There was, and this isn't really a spoiler if you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, but there was an end credits scene that explains why he was in the end credits scene of Spider-Man No Way Home. It validates that it was that the symbiotes are one hive mind, so if one symbiote knows Peter Parker, then they all know Peter Parker. And it basically brought that all together. So yes, folks, we can fully expect an Andrew Garfield, Tom Hardy, Venom show. But the interesting thing is he is full on going into the anti-hero role. So I really, really hope that in that universe, he is Agent Venom. So potentially look forward to that, folks. That's really exciting. The second thing I want to talk about is, again, and this is something I've been working on every week as parts come in and such, my drone. So I've really finished the build and I've moved on to the software phase. And the flight controller I picked is one that I can download open source flight controller software. So the software I'm using is what's called Beta Flight. And let me tell you, this software is absolutely wild. I plugged it into my computer and it has a whole graphical interface. If I lift up my drone on my desk, it's showing an image of it physically changing its orientation through the gyroscope data, which is wild. I can activate the motors, change their speed, all through my mouse and keyboard. And that just is the coolest thing, that I can just interface with this thing right on my desk through the software. So absolutely excited about that.
You got to send me a Snapchat because you sent me a Snapchat of the motors running. I want a Snapchat of that graphical interface where you can see it changing orientation. That sounds visually stimulating. Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. And it's a great tool for debugging. So one of the things with drones is you need to have two propellers spinning clockwise, the other two spinning counterclockwise. So this way they cancel out the net torque and the thing just doesn't spin like a crazy thing. It needs to be torsionally balanced so that there is, it's no different than a helicopter. And so what I'm using this tool for is I'm going and turning on each motor, making sure that I have two clockwise, two counterclockwise. And those are the kind of steps that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in my videos later on when I finally make them to make sure that you include before you go on your first flight. But yeah, the software is absolutely wild. Check out beta flight videos if you're just marginally interested, because it is just the coolest, and it's all open source. It's great. It's a community. It's awesome. And then the last thing was I started playing Pokemon Legends of Arceus, and this game is everything that Pokemon should have been all along. When I tell you I got punched in the face by a Pokemon that I did not see coming, I got punched in the face. It was great. I was just chilling, like, they're over there. They're not going to bother me. I'm a person. Nope. They punched me, and they punched me hard. That was great.
Was it Pidgey?
I don't remember what it was. That was great. I went toe to toe with a scyther, dodging and like ducking and throwing stuff at it. It was nuts. This game is so fun. I again recommend that. Chain. Yeah, it's just and I hate to keep beating the reference of Breath of the Wild, but yeah, it has those aspects. It's got that type of gameplay. And more importantly, it still has the things you love about Pokemon, right? You have your 3 starters, you're still raising, evolving, and things like that. So it's a good time, guys. So far, so good. I'm only a couple hours into it, but I am very much enjoying it. And that's my
rave reviews coming from the Nerdbomber Techtic household. I'm gonna add a review that I don't know if it's rave, but we're really enjoying it so far in our household. We have started the show Succession on HBO Max.
I've heard a lot of stuff about that.
Yeah, you were grilling me before about what show I was watching, and I was being cagey, and I'm actually surprised you didn't come up with it, because it's like, I heard so much about this show. Like, there was a point, I think like around when season 2 came out or something, where like everyone was talking about this show. It's won a bunch of Emmys, it's been nominated for a bunch of Emmys, and I'll be the first to say, like, yes, when you watch the show, you're like, I understand. Because like, from the outside looking in, my attitude and opinion for a long time towards it was, okay, how interesting can a bunch of rich folks be? Because that's what the show's about, basically. The answer is very interesting and very funny and very darkly sinister, and like a lot of good performances, a lot of great writing. This is Adam McKay, who did Don't Look Up and Big Short and a bunch of other things I really love. And also like Anchorman. Will Ferrell like executive produces this show. It's a very interesting show through and through. If you have HBO Max, it's worth at least a look. I'm sure it's not for everyone. The tone of the show is very unique. I've never seen another show like it. So I'd recommend that.
I have a very important question for you before you move on.
I would love it. Go on.
Techtic is going to hate me. So my mom is convinced that Techtic looks like one of the characters in Succession. Kenny.
Oh, you know what? Well, so it's
Is this true?
Funny that you say that, because I want to say it was episode 1. My fiance said, "Oh, there's Techtic." Well, she said your non-podcast name, but this is a true thing. Am I like gonna shout from the rooftops that they look alike? No, but yes, it's a thing for sure. They do look alike.
Okay,
and is he a likable character? Is he a likable character?
So when you watch that show, you will understand there are no likable characters. It's one of those shows. Everyone is terrible. Everyone's a terrible person on that show. He is an amazing actor, and he is the main character. That much I can tell you pretty definitively.
Well, that sounds about spot on to my life. I am the main character of this show going on.
At least for the duration of season 1, he is without question the main character. And he does look like you. There's no question about it. So your mom watches Succession?
My parents do, yeah. My mom loves it.
Yeah, it's great. It's pretty spellbinding stuff. 3 seasons are out. I think there's more to come. We're midway through season 2. We're burning through it pretty quickly. We have Archive 81 waiting in the wings for when we're done with this one, because we'll probably finish it up pretty quick. The other thing I have going on is I've been churning. Well, that makes it sound like it's bad. It's not bad at all. Spider-Man Miles Morales is really good. Okay, it's like I've come around. It's exactly as good as the first one was. Certain things about it might even make it better. When I say churning through, what I mean is I'm a completionist. So like I think I'm in the middle of the final story mission in the game right now, but I've completed pretty much everything else. Like I went out and got every suit, upgraded myself pretty much as far as I could. And so I'm approaching a crossroads. I don't know if I publicized on the podcast yet, but I've of course told Nerdbomber when it happened. I recently came into possession of a copy of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I also have Deathloop. So I'm at a real impasse here. Like I actually think I might do Mass Effect next. I think I'm in a good headspace for it right now.
You have to give me the play-by-play as you play it.
As inadvisable, whichever the word may be, as inadvisable as it might be, because Deathloop I'm sure is a shorter game. I think I might go to Mass Effect next. So Nerdbomber, expect to hear from me. I'll say that much.
I have been waiting literally years for this moment.
I can feel the airwaves humming with your excitement right now. And honestly, it gives me strength. I respect and appreciate it. So the day has finally come, it appears. So shed a tear, hold your breath, do whatever you need to do. That's it for me. So we can head into our game segment now. And Nerdbomber, I think you have something cooked up for us this week. As usual, I have no idea what it is.
Well,
so
it is Shakira's birthday on the day this episode comes out.
Shakira.
Her hips are known to be truthful.
Yeah, they do not lie.
A picture of veracity.
They're the most frank hips I've ever seen.
You better believe it. The questions aren't about her hips. I don't know what use I'm going to be, but let's give it a whirl.
There are unfortunately no questions about her hips, but I do think I have some pretty good ones here. So
Unreal.
Always, Price is Right style here. If you go over, you bust. Whoever is closest without busting gets the point. I have 5 and a tiebreaker. So let's get right into it. The first question. How old was Shakira when she wrote her first song? And we'll have Illeagle start this one. Give Techtic a little bit of an advantage because he lost last year.
7. Final answer, Bob.
No, this was young, but not that young. She was 14.
Illeagle, I feel like you know more Shakira facts than you let on. She was 8 years old when she wrote her first song. So you were like right there. And
the song was Hips Don't Lie, right?
Can you imagine?
Okay, wow. What a start. Thank you, Shakira.
So she wrote her first song when she was 8, but she didn't make her English language debut until she was a little bit older. In what year did she release her first English language album?
I'm going to say 1995.
1996. I'm using my +1 strategically.
And your +1 came in handy here. Her album, Laundry Service, which was her 5th album, came out in 2001. And that's the album that's known for her hit single, Whenever, Wherever,
We're meant to
be together.
You'll be there and you'll be here. Oh, we're not. Okay.
You guys are both, if I may, definitively passable Shakira impersonators.
Well, thank you. I practiced.
I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, that was strategery right there. Using my +1. I feel like I've wasted my +1 a lot. I'm not going to do that this week. So, Techtic, look out. I don't know.
Okay. According to Mensa International, what is Shakira's IQ?
Oh boy. Well, if they have her IQ on file, it's got to be high. The question then becomes how high. 136. 136.
I don't know what the range of IQs is.
Yeah, I was fumbling with that too. I took a shot. What can I say?
137, I guess. What do I got to lose?
The +1 comes in handy again. So her IQ is 140, which classifies her as having, quote unquote,
crazy with it.
Very superior intelligence. 140 is pretty high, guys.
I think genius, like if you're like above like 145 or 1, I want to say Einstein was in the 150s. If you're like in the 145 to 150 range, you're like, yeah, you got big brain. So good for you, Shakira. Your brain don't lie either.
IQ test.
The internet. I don't know, actually. It's a really good question. I'd like to do it. I think it'd be interesting.
I'm scared because
once and for all, see how stupid I am.
I feel like I'll get an IQ of like 1 and I'll be like, oh. And then I'll just
I hope I get a crazy low one. Then I'd be like, how did I get here in life?
Well, I think it's like the SATs where if you just write your name, you get a certain number of points. Because like I think if you're like the lowest you can get is like 60 or something. So getting a 1 would be a true achievement. Good for you, Shakira.
She's got big brains, and also a big library. Early in 2021, Shakira sold the rights to her catalog of songs to the I'm not pronouncing this right, Hypnosis Song Fund.
And it's pronounced hip-nosis.
No, it's spelled very strange. HIPGNOSIS. How many songs?
That's just obnoxious.
Yeah, I struggled with that. How many songs were in her catalog?
And what year was this?
And how much money did she sell it for?
They didn't give a money figure. I think they said it paid royalties for like 25 years, but this was early in 2021.
Okay.
This was 72 songs.
No more plus ones. This is big boy stuff. It was way more than 72. You gotta be joking me. I'm 120.
Illeagle takes this question and he takes the game. She has 145 songs, or at least had in 2021, in her repertoire.
I thought you said she donated the song. I don't think I understood the question, if I'm being honest.
She sold the rights to her catalog of songs.
Why?
For money. Yeah. I think there's plenty of reasons. Get him off the books.
I guess I'll be there and you'll be here. Whatever.
All right. Well, give us the last question here, just for
just for sugars and giggles.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but then I stopped myself all the way. You stopped.
We both know what you really put in your snacks, and it's not sugars.
All right. Well, for the final question, Shakira won a Grammy Award for her MTV Unplugged live album. How long was that album?
Oh, in minutes?
In minutes and seconds.
Oh, that's easy. That's cakewalk. This was 130 minutes and 52 seconds.
Oh, that's a long concert, man. Honestly, you might be right, but I'm gonna take the under. I'm just gonna say 1, just because I think that's a long concert.
That is a really long concert. Could you imagine singing for like 2 hours? I was
gonna say tight 90.
Man, I got spanked.
Yeah, it was only 50 minutes and 33 seconds long.
Right on the hips.
I think that's a short concert, in fairness. I would have said a tight 90. I think a tight 90 is a respectable length concert. Because it's not all songs. In the middle, you like shoot the breeze with the audience, dole out some of the feel goods, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'll take the win. Shakira, you're great. I actually I haven't listened to much Shakira. I listened to that song she did with Wyclef Jean, Hips Don't Lie, of course. I saw her on the Super Bowl halftime show, which, oh boy, that was her and J-Lo. That was something special. I'm just going to say that. But I'll be hosting the quiz next week. Nerdbomber and Techtic will be going mano a mano. Update on the quiz tracking. Guys, your boy is undefeated so far this year. I'm 3-0. Techtic drops to 1-2. Nerdbomber at 0-2.
No, I won. I wouldn't be hosting if I didn't win.
Yeah.
I didn't update it. I guess you're right.
I won the Wayne Gretzky one.
Well, I don't know if that means Techtic is 1-2 or 1-3. I'm going to leave it at 1-2 because that's more interesting. And also, I will try to be more diligent about how I update the quiz tracker. But either way, it's been a great week. Happy Groundhog Day. Be safe out there. Go to, party for Groundhog Day, but do it responsibly, people. That's not. I'm going to turn it over to Techtic here for some advice, but
yeah, that's
my personal advice. Okay,
so the weather's going to start getting warmer if spring does in fact come early, and you're going to be in the boot. And if anyone ever comes up to you and says, "Hey, I just want to be frank with you," ask to see their license and registration just to be sure that they're not giving you a fake name.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week.